Okay, hello and welcome back to Shay's Hobby Dog Bay, everyone. Yes, I'm in a different spot. That's because my camera is low battery, so I have it charged up, plugged up over here by my table, and so I'm sitting here with it sitting on the table. Today is Friday, June, I think the 22nd. 2018, and it's after 4 something p.m. in the evening, may even be 5 something by now, I can't remember. Still here by myself. Albert's at work. I didn't have Gracie today. Elizabeth's now at work. So this video is another question of the week, and this question is also from Sandra Hazen. She had asked me 3 different questions. So she asked me, when did we get our dog? And how did we get it, and all that. So our dog is Butch. He's a boy. We're not really totally positive what kind of dog he is. I don't even know where he's at. Y'all, my floor is dirty. He's laying over there. I'm trying to hold this and aim it and show y'all. See the tray right there? So he's laying on the other side of the tray and on the other side of that coffee table in front of that couch. Do y'all see him laying there? If he'd get up and let me show him better, I'd show you. I don't know if any of you has ever really seen him real good. Sandra, specifically, since she's the one asking about him. He's been to the vet, and we have been told that we're not sure what kind he is. We know he's a mixed, so he's not a full breed. We've been told that he's like part German Shepherd and part Beagle. And I thought that was so odd, because my pawpaw Spikes, my daddy's daddy, when I was a little girl and he was alive, he lived across the road from us, he had a slew of Beagle dogs. Of course, they were probably fully bred beagles, and he would hunt with them, squirrels and rabbits and I guess deer too sometimes and stuff. They were his hunting dogs. But Butch don't look nothing like a beagle. And the reason we don't know what kind he is, I'm jumping to way ahead of myself here. He was a stray dog. This was way back when we lived in Mississippi before. Collins, Mississippi, out on Bowie Swamp, my land that I grew up on. He just was a stray dog and came up in the yard. And I remember when he come up, and he was so skinny and so little, and he was so skittish and scared. So he acted like we felt like that he had been abused and starved to death. Probably beat on, and stuff, the way he acted. But when he first come up in the yard, I can remember saying, "You need to go on and find your home. You don't belong here. We don't need any more dogs. We got enough," I did. I said that to him one day. And, because, I wasn't wanting any more pets. We had pets. We had Samson. We had Junior at that time. And Dixie, I think, even. And I had my bird Bubbles, and I just didn't want any more pets, So I wasn't mean to him, and I didn't really force him to go off. I didn't sound real mean to him. I had looked at him, and he was laying outside on the grass in front of our house, and I had just walked out there to do something, and I'd seen him, and I said that to him, But anyway, so he hung around, and since he hung around, and since he looked like he was so little and skinny and starving to death and so skittish and scared, my husband is a sucker for stuff like that on animals. So he started feeding him. So then Benny, that's my husband's brother. Now, we lived in our house at this time that my husband built us. And the trailer that we did live in before he built us the house, Benny had moved into and was living in the trailer. And it was right there beside us on the same land, in the same yard. So Benny actually is the one that named him and kind of took him in after he stayed there for a few days outside, and they fed him and he kind of got used to him. Then Benny decided, well, if he's going to hang around, I'm just going to name him and he can be my dog. So then Benny started taking him inside the trailer with him only at nighttime, and he slept in the trailer with Benny at night. But during the day, he would let him out, and he came outside and then just stayed outside all day, because we had a dog outside. No, we didn't. Samson. I don't know if we still had Samson at that time or not. I can't remember. Samson had probably passed away. But we had Junior and Dixie, and they were inside dogs. Now, they would go outside to use the bathroom, of course, you know, and play a little while, and they'd run around and play with Butch. Butch became friends with them, and they would all run around and play. And, but Butch then got to where he would start, coming inside our house during the day. And he would get behind my lounge chair in the corner in the living room, and he wouldn't want to go out. And I would fuss at him, and I would stomp the floor, and I'd say, "Go, get outside, you don't belong in here." And yeah, I kind of got rough sounding there. But he was hard to get out, and he didn't want to get out. We had to force him to go out. I didn't want him in there. We already had the other two, and I didn't want any more inside dogs. And it was fine that Benny had kept him and named him and was letting him stay in his house at night. And then him being an outside dog during the day, I was fine with all that. I didn't want him in my house, you know. So, and I love him to death. He's my baby now, my buddy. And I wouldn't give, you know, nothing for him. He's mine. Love him to death. But anyway, that's how it was going at first. So then, it wasn't long that it came up that we ended up moving to Tennessee. You know, Benny came with us because he was like living with us. He works with my husband. He can't live on his own. He can't take care of himself. My husband basically has to take care of him. And even though he was living in his own home, you know, there. So when we moved, he had to come with us. So, we moved. We found a log house in Tennessee. It was Kingsport, Tennessee, and the area that the house was in was called Colonial Heights. And we all had to move in that house and live in it. There was just 3 bedrooms, really. So me and Albert had one, Benny had one, and then the girls shared one at first. But then the dining room was so big that Albert talked to the guy that we rented the house from and asked him if he could put up a temporary wall in the middle of the dining room to turn it into 2 rooms, one the dining room and the other side a bedroom, so that the girls could have their own separate bedrooms. And the guy agreed, so Albert did that. So Katie moved into that one. But when we first moved in there, you know, Butch was considered Benny's dog. So Benny was living in the house with us, so Butch was in the house then. But he would sleep in Benny's room with him at night. But then it got to where the girls got close to him and started playing with him and getting him in their room. And at one time we had one of Katie's friends from Mississippi had come up there. They were moving up there. And her husband, she was married now and pregnant. Her husband was working with my husband, and they were going to move there, so they was living with us at first. So Katie had to move back into the room with Elizabeth, and they had took that temporary room that was Katie's. Well, when Katie and Elizabeth was in that room, they had their own separate beds, and that room was a big room, so, and they were both full-size beds, so, you know, Elizabeth had hers against one wall, and then Katie had hers against one wall, and there was a pretty big wide space between the 2 beds. And I remember this. They had each got in there and they were on their own beds, and Butch was on one bed with one of them. I don't know how it got started, but the other girl, and whichever way it was, can't remember if it was Elizabeth or Katie, but the other one that didn't have Butch with her started calling Butch to come over there to her, and she just thought he was gonna jump off the bed, I guess, and then jump up onto hers. But they said he leaped from one bed to the other all the way across. And like I said, that was a wide span. So they were shocked about that. So they started laughing and cutting up and playing with him and getting him to jump, you know, from bed to bed then. They thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So then he started sleeping with them. So then it was like because Junior was Elizabeth's dog. Now, the dog we had, Dixie, in Mississippi, was Katie's dog, but it got ran over and we had to put her down. So then Katie didn't have a dog. That was before we moved. So we moved. So because of all this, and they were close and playing with Butch, Katie kind of grew to really liking Butch. And so she then claimed Butch as her dog. I mean, we're all living in the house together. So now Butch didn't no longer sleep in the bedroom with Benny. He was sleeping in the bedroom with Katie and Elizabeth. And then after Christy and, I think his name was Michael, they ended up moving back to Mississippi. It didn't work out. They didn't stay, and him finished working with Albert and then moved there. They ended up moving back to Mississippi, so Katie got her bedroom back. So Butch became Katie's dog, and he was sleeping with Katie now. So, then we finally bought our house in Churchill, Tennessee, and moved there. Well, Benny didn't no longer live in the house with us, because that house had a little shed that was in the backyard. Now, it was a nice shed, and Albert even did work on it and closed it in and made it nicer and really gave it walls and a window air conditioner. And so it was just one room. And so the back side, he had his bed and set up with a closet and stuff. And then the front side, he had his TV and a chair, and then also like a table for like a little microwave and stuff like that. But he always ate the big meal supper every night with us in the house. And then of course he had to use our bathroom to take baths and everything. He didn't have a bathroom out there. But that was his little house. But instead of Butch moving with him out to the little house, because he was Benny's dog before, he stays in our house because he's now Katie's dog, and he stays in Katie's room with her. So then Katie gets engaged to Marcus, and Marcus lives in Illinois. And then Katie, just before they get married, she goes ahead and moves to Illinois. Marcus had found them a trailer. She moved to Illinois, moved into the trailer. He still lived with his mom and dad, but she left Butch with us. So then he started hanging out with Elizabeth and sleeping with her. And then when we moved from Tennessee, we moved to Lacombe in that house. He was with us. We still had Junior at the time. Junior passed away in Lacombe, and we buried him there, bless his heart. So then, in Colonial Heights log cabin house, my Bubbles bird passed away. We had to bury her there. So then all we had was Butch. And then we moved from Lacombe to here, this house. We still got Butch, and it's still me, Albert, and Elizabeth. So sometimes Butch sleeps with Elizabeth. Sometimes he sleeps not in our bed, but he's got blankets in the corner in our bedroom in there. I'm pointing that way. And he sleeps in there most of the time with us, but like I said, sometimes he'll go in there and sleep with Elizabeth. And then it's always me and him every day, or me, him, and Gracie here hanging out. He's got a bed pillow right here at the end of the couch. Y'all have seen it before. And he does lay on it. Is it showing it? Yeah, he's got his toys right there beside it. Right there. And, but he does get on the couches and lay, and he lays over there and lays down. So that's how we got him. And he has done better. He's not skinny anymore. Y'all can tell that. We probably feed him too much, and he gets really big. He's probably overweight, bless his heart. Sometimes I look at him and watch him, and it looks like he has a hard time breathing and stuff like that. And, but he has come a long way. He's not as scared as he used to be, but he is still scared of loud noises. So when it's bad weather and it's thundering, he runs and hides in corners, or he'll come get behind me or under me at my table if I'm sitting there. If I get up and walk to another room, he'll follow me there because he's so scared. Around the holidays when they're doing fireworks, he don't like the fireworks sound. When in Lacombe, see, Albert was working out of the carport that he closed in for his shed shop thing, and all the loud saws and the air compressor that he would have to use that was loud, when he turned those on, Butch didn't like those, and he runs and hides. He still don't like loud noises, or if a person uses a loud voice, you know, like they're fussing or yelling, he don't like that. It scares him. But he's come a long way, and he's doing good, and he's our baby. He's Momo's baby. Momo talks to him, petted. I love him. He's our last pet though, so when his time comes, that's it. We want to take a break on pets. Now Elizabeth's getting her a house. She's going to move out when she gets it fixed up. She's not going to take him with her. He'll stay here with us if he's still with us when she gets it fixed up and moves in. Because she works and she stays gone most of the time. So she would have to leave him at home by himself all day long while she's at work, and that wouldn't be fair to him, you know. So he's going to stay here with us, so he'll be our dog then, just like he is now. And, you know, he started out being Benny's dog, and then Katie's, and then I guess when she left became Elizabeth's, or ours all together. And now Elizabeth's going to leave, so he'll just be mine and Albert's. But we want to, when his time comes, not that we want that to hurry, but we are tired of pets for a while, and we just want to take a break and a rest on getting any pets for a while. We may later on down the road get another dog or another. I love birds, and I've had birds kind of all throughout my life. And when I was a teenager at home, I had 2 birds, and they were named Elvis and Priscilla. And so I just I may end up getting another bird, you know, or something like that. But anyways, we want to take a break on pets for a while. But that is the story of our Butch, how we got him. And that's why we didn't really know what he fully was. But like I said, a vet has told us that he is part German Shepherd and part Beagle. And like I said, I don't see a Beagle in him at all, not compared to what my Pawpaw Spikes' Beagles looked like. But then, wasn't too long ago, here a while back, Albert's cousin came by the house. And he has Beagle dogs that he works with, and he knows what they look like. And so he was petting Butch, and we was telling him about that, and he said, I can see the Beagle in him. And I looked at him and I said, really? And I told him about how my grandpa had Beagles, and I said, he don't look nothing like Beagles to me. Oh my word, I don't see how he can see Beagles in him. That's just funny to me. But anyway, that's the story of our Butchie, and this ended up being a real long story. We're 17 minutes in. I wished, let me unplug it and take it over there. Since this is a story about Butch, I feel like I need to show him real good for y'all. Y'all don't mind my dirty floor. I'm not able to sweep like I need to. Alright, there's my Butchie boy. Hey, my Butchie boy. That's a Momo's baby. Yes, him's my buddy. We hang out here together by ourselves all the time, and sometimes we have Gracie. And sometimes he has to run and hide from Gracie, because her's always wanting to hug on him and kiss him, and she even tries to ride him like a horse, and him not really like that either, even though a couple of times he has stood still and let her almost get on him. Hey, buddy. We're going to say something? Talk to him. Say something. Say, hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Is laying there resting and Mom won't come to disturb you? Yeah, him's yawning. Alright. Okay, that's the story of my Butch. I hope you enjoyed it, Sandra, and everybody else. And like I said, if y'all want to ask me more questions to keep having more stories told, you know, answering those questions like this with stories on video, I'll be glad to. So just let me know in the comments below, okay? And I'm out of here until next time I'm done. I'm going to the loo.